What was your marital situation like when you first started working with Randy?
My wife of 8 years came to me one day and said, "I'm leaving you and I want a divorce." I knew that we had some problems in the marriage. I didn't think they were that bad. By the time I met with Randy, I was in pretty bad shape both mentally and physically.
What are some of the most valuable lessons that you learned from Randy as you went through this season?
There's a scripture verse that basically says you should think less of yourself and more of others. And the way Randy put it was, put her needs ahead of your wants. And he asked me how I was doing in that. And I realized in thinking over my marriage that I was not putting her needs ahead of my wants. And he also said that you should always do the right thing, whether or not that's what you prefer. Another thing that he stressed was that I wasn't alone in this. He reminded me that he, along with a lot of other men, have gone through exactly what I'm going through now, and that I should lean on those people for support in getting through it.
What other lessons did you learn from Randy?
The only communicating we did, my wife and I, through this divorce was through emails and texting. And I would want to say something to her, so I would type out a long email. And Randy said, "Hey, let me take a look at those before you send them." And I would type that up, and then I'd send it to him. And always, I can't think of one instance that he didn't send it back to me and say, "Maybe we can do that a little differently." And he explained I should be clear, concise, and kind when I typed those emails. Well, I was being very clear in what I was saying. I wasn't being very concise, and I certainly wasn't being kind. So we changed that. It wasn't something I wanted to do at the time, but at the end of the day, when it was all said and done, I realized that there weren't any emails that I sent that were angry and had unkind words in them. And that makes me feel like I did the right thing.
How did Randy's coaching help you with your new relationship?
I have a list of things that he helped me with, and those were the things that I needed to change. And I think about those things, and I concentrate on not doing them again.
What are you doing to ensure that this won't happen again?
What I'm doing is remembering how the relationship was before, and have decided that I'm not going to do those things again. And I check with Randy every once in a while, and he asks me how I'm doing, and am I doing those things that he recommended? And I check with the new relationship by saying, how am I doing?
Did you learn anything from Randy that you'll be doing for the rest of your life?
Yeah. Practice. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of remembering what you were doing wrong and correcting those things.
What advice would you give someone who's undecided about reaching out to Randy for help? Why should they?
Well, I still talk to Randy on occasion, and he asks how I'm doing and what am I doing to make sure I'm not going backwards. And that keeps that in front of me all the time, so I'm always aware of it. It's very important not to go through something like this alone. Randy has been through this, and he has counseled a lot of men who have gone through it. He has a lot of answers, and he knows what you're going through, and you don't need to go through it alone.
But if your situation ended in divorce, what's the use of talking to Randy?
Because the divorce doesn't end things. It ends the marriage. It doesn't end how you feel physically. It doesn't end how you feel mentally. It doesn't end there. It doesn't happen the day that the divorce is final. You say, everything's good, because it still isn't. So there's still healing that needs to take place.